this was good.
The Apprentice, the film that you're referencing, really underlines the stakes that we were talking about a few minutes ago. Roy Cohn, I see essentially as the progenitor of fake news and alternative facts. And we're living in the aftermath of what I think he created.
The Apprentice, a movie made by Ali Abbasi, starred Jeremy Strong as Trump's friend and former chief counsel to Joseph McCarthy, Roy Cohn.
I think that this time where truth is under assault, where truth is becoming an increasingly endangered thing, that the role of stories, of cinema, of art, but here specifically at this temple of film, the role of film is increasingly critical because it can combat those forces and the entropy of truth, and it can communicate truths, individual truths, human truths, societal truths, and affirm and celebrate our shared humanity. So I would say that what I'm here doing this year is, in a way, a counterbalance to what Roy Cohn was doing last year.
You see, Cohn is a man who greatly influenced Donald Trump to be the conniving cheat that he is today. Some say Cohn was Trump's mentor or even his surrogate father. This much is clear. Roy Cohn was Trump's model in the handling of public relationships and media warfare, wrote NPR's Ron Elving. Cohn was known for pushing aggressive tactics to the limits and beyond, especially for filing lawsuits and countersuits to bully his adversaries. Sound familiar? Well, it should. Cohn would eventually be disbarred, but his practices remain rather prevalent. Cohn, who died in August 1986 at age 59, greatly influenced Donald Trump for decades to come, instilling a win-at-all-cost mentality that Trump himself has brought to politics and all the way to the White House, added biography.com. He would represent the Trumps in their reported violations of the Fair Housing Act when they marked a C, meaning what they meant was the C was for colored people. Colored people, that's what they said. Because as we learned, even in a Nixon administration, it seemed as though they were in violation of that federal law. Cohn would take the case, they would settle in court, and the Trumps would never have to say that they bared any responsibility, and they would not have to admit to any wrongdoing. He and Roy Cohn would go on to speak 15 to 20 times per day, and Roy Cohn would even introduce Donald Trump to Rupert Murdoch. When asked by Esquire, why did you decide to focus on Roy Cohn as a subject, documentarian Matt Turnauer gave the following response. I was very aware of his relationship with Donald Trump and the fact that he had a huge influence on him. Having done a lot of research and now made a film, I think that that's actually understating it. I think Roy Cohn created a president from beyond the grave.
I guess I would say, I don't want to tell people to go see this movie, but I would say that if you're interested in the state of the world and interested in the fate of America and the repercussions that this election will have on the rest of the world, that it's essential to understand who Donald Trump is, really, what made him the way he is, how he became the Donald Trump that we know, and how we got to where we are now, and that is what the film is about in a way that is based entirely on historical record. Churchill said this thing in 1948 famously, that those that fail to learn from the past are condemned to repeat it. And we don't often look enough into the past to understand today, but that's what the film is doing. And I think storytelling and filmmaking is sort of supremely positioned to help us understand the world and illuminate sort of things that we're not getting from our news feeds and the algorithms and from Wikipedia pages of history.
What this really does explain are the intricacies of Donald Trump. Yes, he learned a ton from his dad, Fred Trump, who was, according to many reports, arrested at a KKK rally. But he also learned a ton from someone that has been called his surrogate father in Roy Cohn. And the reason that I feel this film is must watch is not only because Jeremy Strong is truly brilliant at what he does, but it will explain so much to so many people on how Donald Trump learned to be the way that he is, whether in the public eye or behind the scenes, from his mentor. There is one scene in the trailer which shows Roy Cohn, excuse me, recording conversations. And when Trump says that's illegal, Cohn basically tells him sometimes you just got to push the envelope. Everything that we have seen from Roy Cohn and everything that we have heard of Roy Cohn has been instilled in Donald Trump. The amount of times that he has countersued, even in that Fair Housing Act violation that we discussed moments ago, they countersued. And they knew that they would be unsuccessful, but they did it anyway. That is a Trumpian staple to a T. They're probably in violation of something. They're probably guilty of something. I'll just sue them. What's the best way to intimidate someone? Sue them. I remember covering a story not long ago where an architect built parts of Trump Doral or Trump Bedminster, one of the Trump golf properties. And what did Donald Trump do? He stiffed the architect. And when the architect said to him, hey, you owe me this amount of money, he goes, sue me. See what happens. It's a strong arming game that Donald Trump likes to play. Another thing that he learned from Roy Cohn, never admit fault. Always punch back harder and harder and harder. Propel yourself to be on top using your words and your tactics. I mean, the funny thing is Trump will put out these quotes saying that, yeah, Roy Cohn was just a friend. He didn't have a large influence on me. Bullcrap. He did. Because what we have seen are the remnants of Cohn in Donald Trump. And on top of this, when James Comey would not bend the knee to Trump, and when Jeff Sessions, former Attorney General, Jefferson Beauregard Sessions, would not bend the knee to Donald Trump, he let out, according to the New York Times, in a fit of rage, where is my Roy Cohn? This is a must-see, not just because the Trump administration really, and I mean really, did not want this film to see the public eye, but because it shows how powerful these stories are and how, as Strong said, we can certainly learn from it. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYTsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day. Calling out elite people in comedy should be the rule of thumb.
I think Donald Trump's hair is actually another creature.
Yeah.
The hair's like going, good night, Donald. Good night, Donald. There we go.
Maybe it goes out. It goes out and makes money while he's asleep.
There is something about punching down that feels taboo, and punching up is the way to go.
Crack's not really my thing, but if it was, it would be fine if I was on that side.
Wow.
Don Jr.'s on coke.
We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. I'm a very stable genius.
It is very important, the work that the Jordan Kleppers are doing, the work that the Good Liars are doing, the work that our team here at the Turks are doing, and many more.
Used to see these tackles, now they tackle. Oh, head-on-head collision. Bing, flag, footballs become soft.
You have Trump doing sound effects for tackles. The choice could not be more clear. Like, let's not beat around the bush about it.